So, Mark, health and safety.
Sure.
Influencing positive change and taking a stand. What does that statement mean to you?
Look, health and safety in the context of construction sites is very important. Accidents are not inevitable, but they often happen. They can be small things or they can be large, really catastrophic things, and they touch people's lives. So we all should focus on making sure that we go to work and come home in the same safe way that we went to work. And that's really important. So on very large projects, you've got whole departments of people that look after that to try and keep people safe. The law is set up so that there are consequences for people that don't try and keep people safe. There are dashboards, there are KPIs, there's inductions, there's all sorts of things. So in all that machinery on a construction site, sometimes you can get lost in that if you're not careful. And it can be the big initiatives being very important, but little things can make a difference occasionally. And I hark back to a time when I worked in the steelworks in Wollongong, and they had some DuPont safety advisors come along and talk to us about safety culture. And, you know, I was given the job of guiding this old guy around because I kind of knew the plant and he knew what safety was, and they were trying to introduce safety glasses as mandatory. He said...
How long ago were you talking about?
It's a few years ago, Andy. More than 3.
Yeah.
And this old guy used to listen to people on the plant, and he said, look, I've heard every argument. The glasses fog up, they are uncomfortable, they hurt my ears. He said, I could give you 100 arguments. And in the end, what I say to people is, here's the special spray that's anti-fogging, and I give it to them, and here's the 5 different pairs of safety glasses you can try on and you can wear, and most companies are pretty good with that. And in the end, I have to say to them, I'm really, really sorry. But if you can't wear safety glasses, the general manager has told me, I have to find something else for you to do. And if we can't find something else for you to do, you're not going to be able to work here anymore because everybody on this site has to wear safety glasses. And
do you think that's the right way to approach things?
Look, I think it is. I think it is in the end. Safety glasses are a very important part of working on large construction sites.
So let's touch on that though, right?
Sure.
So you've threatened his job because he's not putting on PPE. Are you sure that's the right way we want to approach things?
It's absolutely not the way that you want to approach things. You want to approach things by finding out why somebody isn't wearing PPE.
There we go.
And
so find the root cause.
Making it possible for them to wear PPE.
Also get him to understand the consequences of that inaction.
That's right.
Would go much further than saying, mate, I've got to kick you off site.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, I've had this conversation.
An eye injury can be a bad thing. I was walking onto a plant many, many years ago. I had a pair of safety glasses on. A guy was actually putting a safety sign up, and the drill broke as I was walking past him.
And he wasn't wearing his safety glasses?
He had safety glasses on, and so did I. And a piece of the drill hit my safety glass.
Did it? Actually?
A tiny little piece of the drill. And in fact, the safety advisor was so excited about it, he came along and took it away and varnished it and said, this is going to be my example for the next 10 years. But yeah, that was a plant in Western Sydney. And I was just casually walking past. And I was on a walkway where I probably didn't need to have safety glasses on.
So you're a live example of how safety
glasses
actually
could have cut my cheek or something.
Or could be worse.
Could have gone in my eye,
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, so look, there are the consequences are not just that somebody will get grumpy at you, right?
No, it's not. But that's the thing. It's behavioural, isn't it? So
look, it is.
It's about how do we convince these people that it's for their own safety, and get them home safely every day. Rather than having to threaten them with saying, "I'm going to kick you offside. You need to find another job." You know
look, I mean? and that goes for everybody, Andy. If you go and stand at a train station that doesn't have platform screen doors, you'll see signs that say, "Do not walk across the tracks."
Yeah,
right. It's pretty important.
Mind the
gap. It's pretty important that people don't... mind the gap. These things are pretty important. You can find videos of people falling down in pretty small gaps or dropping kids in small gaps between a train and a platform. And that's why modern trains, metros in particular, are pretty careful. There's whole groups of people that will talk to you all day about how many millimetres wide the gap is allowed to be and why that's important and why the train has to come in straight and shouldn't be on a curved platform. There's a bunch of science and engineering around trying to reduce the size of those gaps.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. All right, mate. Just to wrap that up then. So what does that making a stand, that sentence actually?
So it's the small things. It's about doing things personally day by day. One of the great examples the DuPont guy gave to me in the days we were spending walking around the plant was he said, when you go to the supermarket, you can tell the DuPont families because when they put the shopping in the car, it always goes in the boot. It never goes in the back seat. And if you look on the back seat, you'll never see an umbrella sitting on the back seat because if they're in an accident, then that shopping can become a projectile. You know, a watermelon in the back of the head is funny in a TikTok video, but less funny if it's going 80 kilometres an hour. So an umbrella, of course, can end up going through somebody.
Wow.
So
that's something I never thought about, actually.
Very simple thing.
Put your groceries in the boot.
Put your groceries in the boot, not in the back seat. Yep. Get off the phone as you're crossing the road. Really simple one. If you've got to watch that TikTok, wait until you're across the road, just in case.
Yeah.
Little things. It's the little things that make a difference. That builds towards a culture of everybody being safe and people just putting the safety glasses on and not questioning it. And actually wearing safety glasses, not normal glasses.
Yeah, yeah.
Small things, but they make a big difference.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's some key lessons to take away from there.
Yep.
You forgot your example of putting the guys on site.
Which one?
The DuPont example of how they put the manager on site to improve the.
Oh yeah, I didn't tell that story.
Yeah.
I can
just tell it. Cut another bit.
I can just tell it separately. So I'm happy to just run through that now. So
just make a note that we slotted in. Yeah.
So another thing I heard from this DuPont guy as we walked around the site was that I think in between the Second and Third World Wars, DuPont was having lots of industrial accidents on their site, and they were causing explosions. They had chemical plants.
What sort of sites are we talking about?
These are manufacturing facilities.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So they had chemical plants and explosive plants and all sorts. So they were blowing up, and so one of the initiatives, the story goes, is that they gave the general managers free housing, and it was opulent housing, right? So for them and their family, whilever they were the general manager, they gave them opulent houses, and the rates of accidents in the factories dropped off dramatically. So it was a great success. It was a great success,
because they gave the general manager a free house.
Yeah, and it's not the fact that they gave them a free house, Andy. It's where those houses were. So those houses.
Let me guess.
They were located on the plant.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You put a plant on site,
a house
to
on
improve. A house on very close to the plant, and that automatically improves the health and safety culture of the entire plant.
It had.
That's genius, isn't it?
That's buy-in, right? That's buy-in. That's getting skin in the game.
Yeah.
That's getting skin in the game. And look, most people these days have that skin in the game from the legal framework that sits around the responsibility of general managers now, but nothing brings it home like, seeing your wife or your kids come home to somewhere located right next to the factory.
And that place is unsafe.
Well, you make sure it's not, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because your entire family's going to be right next to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is absolute genius.